guys, welcome. Thank you for being here. I think we finally got this stream under control, or close to it, or as close as we're going to get to it. I'm going to go ahead and switch views here. I think I know what happened. Although in the scramble to get this stream going again, I don't think it bookmarked what happened here. You guys, welcome back to another episode of Lou Reviews. You're home for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. Thank you guys so damn much for being here. Man, a lot of crazy shit that's happened this week. We're going to be covering the new UFO whistleblower and star subject of the latest James C. Fox documentary, Jason Sands. We're going to cover his outlandish claims and listen to his answers when pressed to provide facts. We also discuss how the community reacted to this news and what it means for the hobby of ufology. I also had a space last night in which I absolutely tore into the shit of all the grifters and liars and bullshitters and posers and ufologists that say they want debate, but really they're not interested in it whatsoever. All they're interested in is their stupid little echo chamber. And that's what they love to give themselves. And they love to talk about love and light and being open to listen to people. But the truth is they want nothing to do with that whatsoever. So maybe we'll get into that. If we don't, you can listen to that space. I left it up. I re-listened to it this morning. And yeah, there's nothing I regret about that space whatsoever. Yeah, it's just been a really insane week. Now, the reason why I think our stream had a real issue starting here was because I think we have some copyright strikes that are being leveled at us because of our thumbnail that we used originally for this show. And that thumbnail was a photo from what people are saying is a lawyer website. Could be a prank website, could be a real website of this new whistleblower, Jason Sands, who's now public, by the way, and who's been on other shows and has shown his face. We're learning more and more and more about this guy every single day. But it is interesting that the tactic that these guys are using to stop this show from happening, and the only reason I think we got this stream to work on the third one is because I changed the thumbnail. I put a clown face over his fucking head to make sure that these guys don't attack our stream. And so now I'm going to have to fucking copyright strike fight against a publicly fucking available image on a publicly known whistleblower. This idea that I'm doxing this asshole is fucking hilarious. But that's what these dickheads do anytime somebody does a show about them that might paint them in the real negative light that they live in. So excuse me if I go a little extra hard on Jason Sands, the lying whistleblower who's full of shit, and not even his fucking most extreme of colleagues believes this asshole. But UFO Twitter, the mosh pit that is UFO Twitter, eating it up like fucking idiots. Just like, yes, sir, give me more. Oh, you just put a huge pile of shit in front of my face? Please, God, get me the biggest spoon I could possibly fucking have to eat this bowl of shit. The amount of fucking ass kissing that this guy got is insane to me based off of the claims that he's made himself. Claims that have already started to contradict themselves. And we're going to get into that as well. Thank you to everyone who's here. Let me pull up my chat again. Like, this has been a crazy show already. It's wild that these fucking believers and these crazy fucking assholes that live on UFO Twitter just can't even have my show go up. Like, that's how much what I'm saying is threatening their existence. Their little fucking existence of mud. Thank you guys also for being patient and finding the streams for a third time. I know this is annoying, but honestly, I didn't think we were going to have to deal with this bullshit today. But, you know, no shocker here when it comes to believers. They will pull any trick out of the hat to try and prevent people from listening to what needs to be heard. All right, let me pull up my chat here. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm putting in links, and so this way I can pop up your chats on our show here, and you guys feel included in the show as best as I can anyway. Let's see here, my pop-up chat. I'll go ahead and replace that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened, because my internet signal was fine when these streams started, and then as soon as they started, about a minute into it, that's when I started dropping frames like crazy. My server couldn't connect, and that's because I'm pretty sure I was getting copyright strikes, but I'll find out for sure here before the show's over. I just haven't gotten a warning or anything yet from YouTube, but I have a feeling it's coming. All right, let me pull this over here. Pat Calabria, Simon Fly, Lord Ludacris, my amazing mod, Art and Paranormal. Thank you guys for being here. I'm not here. This isn't happening. Guys, share the fuck out of this show. Share the absolute shit out of this show. Don't donate. Don't do fucking thing. Just share the show. All I want is for people to hear what they don't want to hear. Hashtag it with UFO Twitter. Hashtag it with UAP Twitter. Use every fucking hashtag that you can to try and get in the face of these fucking cult members and believers. I also like, this show is definitely not going to be monetized. That's for sure. Monetization of this video has already gone out the window with the F-bombs that I've dropped already. Let's switch to the old Lou reviews here. And if anybody could find, there was some asshole on Twitter that took my image, my thumbnail, and wrote a message with it along the lines of, you shouldn't be using this image from a website that could be fake. You might be doxing somebody. It's like, okay, so you guys copyright strike this because I use an image from a website that was either a prank or a real thing. Nobody's confirmed whether it's real or not, but yeah, I don't know if I can show the website now. I'm afraid to show the website because these idiots will do anything again to just shut this feed down. But yeah, I've been looking for it. I thought I bookmarked it. I did bookmark it, but again, in the madness of trying to start and restart the show, it didn't bookmark. But if anybody finds that, let me know, because I'd like to see that. Okay, where do we start with this madness? All right, that's that. Okay, we're going to start. I have two recordings. Both of the links to both of these recordings are in the description below. You had Logan Black, who, by the way, I think has taken a break from UFO Twitter after this guy has come out, and he was in my space last night, so I know he heard what I was saying, and I don't know if what I said had an effect of him going, you know what, I'm taking a break from this madness because none of this stuff is making sense. So I have his recording of this Twitter space. The reason why I'd be using another recording as well is because this one breaks up a lot. Whatever he was recording it on, we lose, especially the parts some parts of what I wanted to listen to. So there are aspects of this where we'll play from this one, and then we've also got the second video that we're pulling audio from, and that's the Spaced Out Radio, where they were live streaming this whistleblowing as it was happening live. Whistleblowing, very, very loose. I'm using that very loosely when I say whistleblower. This guy's not a whistleblower, and I'll prove that to you based off the questions that I asked him in this very space, including questions from Stephen Greenstreet and Paranormal Chris. I'm going to highlight these questions specifically because we need to hear the answers for them. And I think it says a lot. And there's also one other moment where we won't listen to either one of either me or Greenstreet or Paranormal Chris. There is a moment where the 20 and back Corey Good made up bullshit was brought up in this discussion, and he claims to have been a part of a program that was just like that, but it wasn't called 20 and back. It was called something else. We'll get to that as well. So let's get started with the first part of this. So this is essentially the beginning of this space. When people heard that this was happening, people started recording it. People started coming. There was 1,000 people at one point in this space. And one of the first people that got in there, one of the first skeptics or rational thinkers, I'm not going to call it skeptic, just the first rational thinker in there was Stephen Greenstreet, the New York Post. And so he had a couple of questions for this guy. So let's listen to those. Again, I'm going to do my fair use thing, or not again, for the first time. Thank you for the for the reminder, Arden. Fair use is transformative work. We are educating the public on the videos that we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. So don't fuck with me. I'm going to fight the shit out of these if these two are like, it's, anyway, we'll get there when we get there. Cross that bridge when we get there. So let's listen to this. Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me turn the volume up. Let me unmute it. All right, let's do this.
Jason, thanks for taking questions. Is Jason Sands your real name?
Yes.
Okay. And I joined late, so if you shared this information, I apologize. You were part of the UAP task force?
Yes.
Okay. From when were you part of the UAP task force?
From 2021 until Arrow stood up.
Oh, okay. Wow. So were you there? You weren't there when Jay Stratton was there.
I think if he was there, it was just that first year I was in
yeah. Because he left January 2021. So you served with Brennan McKernan?
Yeah.
Okay, with Brennan McKernan. Okay. I spoke to a few UAP task force analysts, some of which you probably also worked with. I won't name them, but a few of them spoke about the hitchhiker phenomena. Are you familiar with the hitchhiker phenomena?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Over there at Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
Okay. And they had personal experiences with the hitchhiker phenomena. Have you had any personal experiences with the hitchhiker phenomena, or are you familiar with anyone close in these programs that have experienced a hitchhiker?
I have not. However, I do have some friends that have. Yes.
Okay. And then, interesting. Okay. And then you mentioned the blue alien or the blue entity. But you stopped yourself short from getting into too many details, saying that we would have to wait and see. Wait and see for what?
Well, it's just I know James Fox. I go over all that in James Fox's film. I don't want to spoil it for him or you guys. And that's what I'm holding back is because I know he's working real hard on it. So
okay, so for a movie, okay,
for a movie.
And then is there a reason why you decided to be a whistleblower on Twitter Spaces rather than going to like the Washington Post or mainstream media?
Well, this one, those are all possibilities of, to do all those kinds of things. This one seemed to be a good discussion tonight, and I wanted to be part of that because it seems that there's been a few other times when my name has been mentioned. I felt bad that I couldn't participate at that time because I was still going through my DOPSR process, which is your pre-publication thing.
You still can. Like, this is an opportunity for you guys to connect and make an article for the Washington Post. Like, you guys can fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, here it is.
Well,
correct.
No,
and
it's this. Not here. It is. Stephen Greenstreet doesn't work for the Washington Post. He works for the New York Post, and he makes a very wonderful point. Is like, why are you whistleblowing in a fucking Twitter space with a bunch of UFO believers? It's a fair question. It's a fair question. And his answer is so stupid. But here is what's even more interesting here is that he changes he backtracks on what he just said to Stephen Greenstreet. So Stephen Greenstreet writes, after this interview, new UFO whistleblower Jason Sands completely contradicts himself less than 24 hours after going public. Last night, Sands said he was part of the Pentagon's UFO task force. Today, he wasn't. So on April 20th, again, we just listened to this. Greenstreet, were you part of the UAP task force? Yes. When were you part of the UAP task force? From 2021 until Arrow was stood up. So you served with Brennan McKiernan? Yeah. April 21st, Sands, I should have been very clear. I was ... not employed by the UAP task force. How do you fuck that up that badly? The questions were so clear. And you didn't say, yeah. You said, yes. You were part of the UAP task force? Yes. When were you part of it? 2021 until Arrow was stood up. So basically almost 2 years. Well, technically, I mean, Arrow was stood up, I think, in 22, the beginning of 22. So what, from 21 till basically a year or less. Yeah, I sure did serve with Brennan McKiernan. So there's big lie number one. Okay, now that's an interesting thing. Let me see here. Now let's go back to our questions here.
Thing is that, you know, the opportunity is always there, but you know, I'm not a glory seeker or anything like that.
I'm not a glory seeker or anything like that. Boy, it sure doesn't look like it. Again, like if you were a legitimate whistleblower that had legitimate access to these special programs, the program as he calls it, where he could confirm non-human intelligence, he can confirm reverse engineered craft and you know, alien autopsy bodies, the whole thing. He could confirm all of it. And the Pentagon has said, hey, you're allowed to talk about the aliens, but you're not allowed to say where any of these things are. It doesn't make any fucking sense to classify everything else about this program except for the blue aliens and the aliens in the reverse, you know, the non-human intelligence. Man, it has gotten so stupid. This discussion has gotten so fucking dumb. Like, not like it was even in a great place to begin with. This has always been a stupid discussion that for some reason sometimes drags in some really smart people.
Set the story straight. You know, I'm
straight.
Working towards my retirement just like everybody else. And
so he's still employed with the military. Keep that in mind, because that's a big story that a lot of people are overlooking, is how many intelligence community agents, officers that think that they've experienced alien visitations with blue feathered beings. And they think that the United States is covering up alien reverse engineered technology. He's provided zero proof. And again, I'm going to, because I get very specific about exactly what he's whistleblowing when I got to ask him questions. And of course, by my second round of questions, they just cut me off in the space. And I understand partly because it's like, hey, we got to get to other people. And I get that. But to cut me off and take me out of the space without saying, hey, Lou, can we table that question and just get to a couple other people? And if we got time, we'll get back to you. No problem. But when you kick me out because the questions I'm asking are too difficult, that says everything. And so to the guys, if you find yourself in a space with a guy named Kimball or UFO intros, fucking leave that space. It is propaganda. It is conspiracy theory. It is bullshit. They're not interested in any of those discussions that they hold on Twitter. And let me tell you, they hold epically long. I don't know how some of you guys do this for as long as you do. I listen to some of these things sometimes. I partake in some of these things sometimes, but my limit is about 2 hours. That's usually my wall. And I have seen people where I've been listening to a space or just looking at one, like literally as I'm going to sleep, and then I'll go to sleep. I'll have a full night's rest. I'll wake up, see the exact same people, sometimes in the exact same space, sometimes a brand new space. Then come home and see what's going on, and they're still in spaces. And this is not once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. This is every day that Kimball holds these spaces. Every single day. And the more he holds these spaces, the more irrational he becomes, and the more extreme he becomes in his belief, to a point where he can't even listen to an opposing viewpoint anymore. He refuses because he's a cult member. He's in a fucking cult. And he thinks it's cute. And he has Stockholm syndrome. We discussed that in a space last week. The very same people that harassed and doxed his private messages and made his life a living hell are the same people he's now high-fiving and sticking up for in these fucking spaces. And arguing to create a space for social terrorists like UAP Mike and his wife Joyce. They literally had the gun to your head and you're like, please, sir, hold it a little higher and put your finger on the trigger. Yeah, that's way more exciting. And I'm going to make a prediction right now. All of the things that have happened to the Lou Elizondo assholes, all of the things that have happened to the quote UFO hate group, which is really just a bunch of stupid fucking individuals creating chaos, harassment, and hatred, for sure. How that band of idiots has now turned in on itself and destroyed itself from the inside. It's the exact same thing that will happen to Skyfire News at some point. Watch. Putting my money on it now. I give it over under a year. And it'll probably be at some point, that mechanism is going to eat itself. And I have a feeling it's going to happen when it's not worth it anymore. When paying the salaries of 2 to 3, maybe 4 fucking assholes, when that shit is no longer economically viable to a guy who's only made a couple million. And bravo to you for doing that. But at some point, even a millionaire is going to be like, this shit ain't worth it. I'm spending $5,000 a month on overhead and we're bringing in $200 a month. There's only so long that shit's going to happen. We'll see. Let's see how long you fund that fucking thing for. But my guess, it won't be around forever. Because again, these things tend to be cyclical. They repeat themselves every time. So that's my little prediction for this show. The next question that we're going to go to is from Paranormal Chris, who has been really great this weekend. He's really a level-headed, non-emotional version of me, but his credentials are way more bona fide than mine when it comes to speaking about military procedures and laws that are being written within the military and applied to military life. He's a veteran. He's in the intelligence community. And he's genuinely trying to come into this community. He stepped away for a long time based off of the antics that the Skyfire News shit team did to him. He stepped away, but he's kind of come back a little bit. And, you know, he's kept an arm's length, but he's always kept in contact with me. And I know he's definitely keeps in contact with, he's definitely got to be in our chat here. I know Steve, I'm forgetting your last name for some reason. Steve Long, there you go. You know, I know he's always chat with Steve Long. He's genuinely trying to engage believers in a way that is rational, level-headed, and calm. And I know this because I've tried this. And I'm not just saying that. There are plenty of people in this chat, in this show right now that can verify how many times I've genuinely tried to approach this community with rational, level-headed questions and thinking and non-judgment and no condescension, and trying to be as understanding and as accepting as possible, but also trying to hold on to my attachment to fucking reality. And let me tell you, it's impossible with this group. Impossible. People like Nick Gold, people like Mary Misanthrope, people like UAP Mike and Joyce and Fettuccine Split and King Milford, and all of these assholes. And I will include the Skyfire News team in that when I say Chupacabra and Red Panda Koala. All of these assholes are all guilty of the same shit. They all do the same shit. All of them. And they are not sorry for any of the things that they've done in the past. Zero fucking regrets when it comes to those guys. Zero. No, it's not my PC, guys. This isn't a PC issue. Yeah, because we had this issue last week, but you know, we've live streamed since then with no issues whatsoever until today. And we've done more than a few dozen shows with the exact same settings and everything as it is right now. So all I can do is apologize. Yeah, just also FYI, I misspoke on the Paranormal Crispy in the Intel community. It was he's just in the military. He's in Air Force, so I gotta correct that. I just wanted to do that real quick. Now everybody who's gonna follow me on Twitch, thanks guys. I appreciate it. It just goes to show you we're doing something right when we're pissing them off this badly. All right, let's try and go back to this question from Paranormal Chris.
Hey, Jason. So we talked earlier. So you were in signals intelligence. So what I would like to do, if that's okay, is build a timeline, right? I know you had a long career in the Air Force. Again, thank you for your service. I appreciate it. From one airman to another. So from there, you know, can you kind of give us a timeline? Because it seems like, I think you said you got out in 2000, what was it, 2007?
Yeah.
And so that's ironically when I got out. So from there, where did you kind of go? Because obviously you probably stayed in the intel community. And how did you come across UAPTF and became a I guess employee or whatever you want to call it? How did that happen? Did they seek you out? Did you apply to them? How did that work?
In 2021, well, let's straighten out the timeline. So yeah, went through, retired in 2007, as I said. Then I became a contractor, DoD contractor, pretty much through and through. Where I was doing all kinds of different things, from software testing to intelligence, subject matter expert, kind gosh, what else have I done? I helped DHS do some of their accreditation for some of the federal systems, or the Stennis Space Center, and worked for AFCENT during the Afghan era of things. Just various things where I was just using my skill sets the best I could. When I got involved in the task force, I ended up in working as an instructor down in Florida. And at that point in 2021, when it was kind of the task force was still building up the academia. The way that the forum is generated is that you can you have to, number one, be in the intel community, which I was. Even as an instructor, I'm still considered, part of the IC because I'm teaching IC people. That's one of the criteria you have to have. And then on top of that, you just have to be able to contribute something. And I guess what I was able to contribute was my background and the knowledge of some of the Black World programs that we have, so that the task force was not wasting time on frivolous matters that, hey, this is one of ours. We don't have to worry about that. Let's move on to something else that's more conducive to the limited resources we have. So that's kind of where I got introduced to that. And that was in 2021 when I came across the forum and then became part of the forum. Was 2021.
Awesome.
Chris, if you have a follow-up, go ahead, and then we'll get to Courtney right after that.
Yeah, just give me real quick. So, Jason, you mentioned cadre and instructor. I'm assuming you said instructor to intel. Would that be instructor to military intelligence, or would that be just like within the government agencies?
Well, to joint cyberspace planners, that's who I was instructing, who are also part of the intel community, where you have to teach people how to take useful intelligence, create a proper plan, and execute it. That's kind of what I was doing, is mentoring people. I'd be going to all the combatant commands and teaching each of them. And that's what I did for about 10, 15 years.
So that's pretty weird coincidence, because AKA was naval cyber intelligence. Did you happen to teach him?
I could have. I've met thousands of students, honestly. And I get like when I worked over here at NSA for a while recently, that I run into people all the time. Hey, Jay, I'm like, I don't remember your name. I know your face, but jog my memory. So I could have met AKA, honestly. So I'd have to look at his face. I'm better with faces than I am names.
Thanks, Jason. So we're gonna go ahead. I want to give Courtney.
Sorry guys, I was like half paying attention. I'm going through messages here. I'm making sure the fucking internet's holding together. Which it seems to be fine. Like, you guys see me running speed tests and stuff is going on. So that was Paranormal Chris. Again, I got links to all of these discussions in the description below, so go check that out. Yeah, this thing's gonna be going crazy all day. Okay, so this is where my questions start, I believe. No, excuse me. This is the part of the discussion where he discusses being part of this program, like the 20 and back. So just to give you a quick refresher on what 20 and back is, and I also got to just pull up this bookmark that I have here of Corey Goode, the creator. I'll just read this. Corey Goode, the creator of the 20-year and back story, admitting in court that he made it all up because it was, quote, helping people. Yes, it was helping him and David Wilcox make a lot of money until they got caught. And this is a deposition of him basically admitting that his entire story of the 20 and back. So just if you don't know, 20 and back essentially is an alleged program by the United States government where they kidnap children, they put them on a spaceship, send them to Mars train them to fight aliens for 20 years. They fight aliens for 20 years. Then the United States government takes them back, reverses their age 20 years, or goes back in time 20 years. So 20, and then comes back in time to where they took him. So then he could lead a normal life. They just basically place him right, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Because you're taking him out of the time loop or timeline, taking him to Mars for 20 years. So if it's 1960, that means by 1980 he's been there. Then he comes back to 1960. And so then what happens between 60 and 80 if he's supposed to be there? It's so stupid. So anyway, he comes back. And, through hypnotic regression and all of this bullshit, they figure out, oh, I'm a 20 and back soldier. They are super soldiers, right? That fight aliens on Mars and in outer space. It is the most debunked fucking thing on the planet. But forget about debunked. It has been litigated in front of fucking attorneys. And this is a piece of a very long litigation. And if you want to see the best coverage of this litigation, go check out Steve Cambion's channel and just simply look up the Corey Good deposition. And it is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the whole deposition is like 10 to 15 hours worth of just Corey Good, getting asked questions, and Stephen Cambion went through all of it, all of it. And it's amazing work. So go check that out. Arden, if you have the links for Cambion's episode where he breaks this down, please include it in the chat, because I'd love to share that episode or those series of episodes. It is really good. And if you can't find them, no worries. Just please include his channel link in the chat if you can. Listen to what Corey Good says when attorneys ask him about the validity of his 20 and back story.
Can produce all sorts of people and information to where they claim that my information has changed their life in a good way.
Even though the information is false, it's having beneficial results with people that read it.
Well, I mean, people believe things that are false all the time.
But answer my question, even though the information is false, people are having beneficial reactions by reading it, correct?
Even though some of the information is a creation, people are getting benefit from it. It can produce all sorts of people and information to where they claim that my information has...
So because people have claimed his information has helped them, therefore, yeah, the information's good. No, that's not how the real world works, asshole. The information you're giving them is fake. It's a fraud. It's a lie.
Change their life in a good way.
Even though the information is false, it's having beneficial results with people that read it.
Well, I mean, people believe things that are false all the time.
People believe things that are false all the time. And let me tell you, this is the fucking same attitude that Elizondo, Cahill, Fravor, Dietrich, Gary Nolan, Ross Coulthart, Bryce Zabel. This is the way all of these assholes think, especially when they get to that crossroads that I always talk about. Every researcher, every person in this hobby comes to a crossroads where they realize or they understand pretty much what's happening. And they've got a pretty good grasp, and they've done enough research, and they've talked to enough people, they've experienced enough of these people, to where they come to this crossroads. They're either where they see it's bullshit, but they've got two paths to take. Either go with, okay, I'm going to express my opinion, my real opinion, and say this is bullshit, and then just look at what's happened to me and my channel over the last 3 years, and then they either choose that path, which is pure fucking misery, or choose the path of least resistance, which is, well, if it's helping them, if they're getting entertainment out of it, if they're happier because of it, what's the fucking harm? What's the harm if I sell a course? What's the harm if I allow secret access or write books based off of fucking lies. Every single researcher comes to this point. And I think it's very obvious who those people are. And it's the ones that haven't been like, this is bullshit. It's the ones that are not frustrated with this topic. You know, it's the discussion that Richard Dolan and Kurt Jaimungal had, which is funny because I hit up Kurt showing him the screenshot of their brand new, you know, I discussed classes that Danny Sheehan was offering through his Noetic Institute of Sciences. And we went through those classes. And over the last week, there was a new PhD added to this thing. And it's a $15,000 PhD course. It's a fucking certificate. It's not a real PhD. Let's be clear, because it's not an accredited university. You can't open a business with this fucking PhD. Well, you can, but it would be a fraudulent business. But if you're okay with that, then go for it. Spend the $15,000, get your fake fucking degree from Danny Sheehan and Richard Dolan. That's why Richard Dolan hasn't hit the frustration wall, because Richard Dolan believes and doesn't believe all of the bullshit that he sells. His wife is a full-blown Scientologist. That matters. That matters. You can't have a wife that's a full-blown Scientologist and you not be involved in the church at all. Those two things don't exist. And yeah, when you're getting $15,000 to give out a fucking fake PhD, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that you haven't reached that frustration wall. And Kurt just doesn't understand that, because he doesn't understand the history and the bullshit and the fake superpowers that Richard Dolan has sold over the last 20 years. He's chosen the path of least resistance. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have that bookmark as well. So many bookmarks, man. So many fucking things. If I don't have it bookmarked, I know Shane has it somewhere. Good old UFO Shane. This is the thing that he got super pissed off about this weekend. Was this $15,000 PhD that these dickheads were offering. Yeah, here it is right here. You know, and so, yeah, why is Danny Sheehan selling a PhD in ufology? Links, man, I gotta find the actual fucking, because I don't want to use those dickheads thing. Okay, here we go. So Ubiquity University. Good old Ubiquity University. You know, the one. So here we go. So you got an MA degree in ET studies, and then you get your doctorate philosophy, a PhD in ET studies. And that's $15,000 for that one, for your PhD, if you want to become a doctor. Like, can you imagine? I honestly, if you're a fucking scam artist, it's almost worth $15,000 so people have to call you doctor. And then a PhD like this is then used by people, by believers. Oh, well, he's a PhD. He's a doctor. He's got to be credible. Any asshole can take this PhD. Any dickhead. There is no prerequisites to get this shit. This is fucking stupid. $5,000 first installment before enrolling in a creative journey course. Second installment, another $5,000 before taking Chartres Academy and Great Book course. And then the third installment for another $5,000 or $15,000 before choosing major advisor and submitting dissertation. Yeah, submit a dissertation. Wow. Hey, you can save up to $750 if you pay in full. So if you throw that $15K right now, it'll only be $14,250. Yay. And then we've got our MA and PhD degree. Enrollment in MPI, you use certificate coursework, creative journey to dissertate. It's a fucking certificate. It's a certificate, dickheads. A certificate for $16,600. And core faculty. Here's your faculty. Daniel Sheehan. This is going to be your fucking professor of bullshit. Mr. Danny Sheehan. And oh, look who we got here. Mr. Richard Dick Dolan. Good old Dick Dolan. For over 20 years, Dick Dolan has been one of the best-known UFO researchers in the world. He is the author of the several groundbreaking books in the field. There is no field. There is no field. So let's change that. Several groundbreaking books in the hobby, opening up fresh insight into ways of understanding this perplexing subject. His massive 2-volume history, UFOs in the National Security State, has permanently altered the understanding of the history of UFOs and the government cover-up. He is a co-author of the classic book After Disclosure, which opened up an entire conversation of how UFO disclosure could actually take place. Yeah, he's the first guy to ever think of that. Like, oh my God. He opened up that conversation. Thank you, Dick Dolan. Thank you for opening that up. God knows where we'd be without you. All he's done is write books. You figure if this asshole's gonna give you a doctorate, he'd be a fucking doctorate himself. Or maybe even this dickhead. Neither one of these guys are doctors, but for $16K, baby, they can give you one. His book, UFOs for the 21st Century Mind, remains the best single volume to discuss the full range of UFO subject in all its complexity. It shouldn't be complex, man. The truth isn't complex. Bullshit is complex. His most recent book, another fucking book. This is his fucking resume. Books written about leprechauns, Loch Ness Monster, and Santa Claus. That's his fuck. This is the guy who's going to give you a fucking doctorate? His most recent book, The Alien Agendas. Oh, so yeah, he now knows the agendas of the aliens. Is another unique contribution to the subject. The hobby, being one of the few attempts to analyze the beings behind the UFO phenomenon by explaining the long history of our encounters with them. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Who else is in this bullshit? All right, let's see here. New Paradigm Institute. Yep. Ubiquity graduate degree. The Ubiquity graduate program combines the U.S. and European designs of graduate programs with a blend of taught learning with research and writing. The thesis or dissertation must demonstrate excellence at every level. I bet you I would love to read the fucking dissertations that demonstrate excellence at every level. Oh, fuck, please make these dissertations public, because I bet they are the dumbest, like, literally, I bet you I can write a dissertation for this program that would fucking blow their minds, man. It must show awareness of the history of the literature. Check. In particular area, demonstrate careful analysis and understanding of the field in question, the hobby in question. Check. And most importantly, show your insight, how your insight can be applied to the real world. Oh, fucking check on that one. That's a big check on that one. The dissertation must be scholarly and utilize extensive bibliographical data and footnotes. It should, in other words, be an impeccable work of research. How do you do that on a subject that has no facts and no evidence? Can I turn in a dissertation paper about the funny symbols you wrote on my show that you claim to have seen in some dark room underneath a Washington building? Can I write a dissertation on that bullshit? The symbols you wrote down on the back of a manila pad that you didn't keep. You didn't bother to fucking keep it. So weird. How did you lose track of that fucking thing? I don't know. Must be all that impeccable research that you're so used to doing. Ay. No, I'm not going to watch that bullshit. Okay, so anyway, so that's that. Let me get to this part of the discussion. So this is the 20 and back. I know we kind of sidetracked there, but part of that sidetrack, I was just keeping my eye on the internet, making sure everything's sticking together, and it seems like everything's finally here. So after the show, I don't know if I'll be doing it tonight, but I'll glue all these episodes together, re-release this as you know, not a live stream, obviously, but just a redumping of this so it's not in 4 fucking videos. But let's listen to this.
Wow. Okay.
No, wait, that's me. There was another part of this. I think it might be here. Yeah, this is it.
Right. And, you mentioned 20 and back. Now, are you confirming the Corey Good testimony, or are you confirming just that this is a phenomenon where people can go 20 years into the future and then be like regressed into their former bodies or something like that?
Yeah, so this guy's asking a great question. Can you be specific? Now, are you talking about the Corey Good shit? Or are you talking about something that you've heard separate of that could be like part of the phenomenon where people think they're going 20 years in the future and then coming back? Listen to his answer.
Can you give a bit of information on?
I can't explain the experience, but...
I can't explain the experience. That's what he starts with. Guys, just so you know, Mama's Dope Boy, both of the links to both of these live streams are in the description below. They should be anyway. Let me just double check that because I had to restart this stream 4 fucking times. But I'm pretty sure it's in there. Just give me a moment. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep, it's in there. So it's the Logan Black recording, and this is the link for Spaced Out Radio that we have here. So both of those channels recorded this. The Full Stack Logan one has some static and parts that you can't hear, so I filled in those parts with the Spaced Out Radio version of it. So thankfully, both of these shows recorded. I'm not a big fan of Spaced Out Radio anymore. I've talked to Mr. Rob G. I warned him about going on this show, so it's funny to see he's kind of pulling a Leah Prime and ignored my advice and is on this stupid fucking show anyway. But yeah, this is just, man, so many. One of the biggest cowards in ufology is Dave Scott. He will not tell you the truth of the shit that's happened to him. He will not do it. And he won't do it. He won't talk about it. And he didn't make a big deal about it because he doesn't want to lose the audience that he does have. And this weekend seat has been rotated by so many people that have just grown sick of his shit and they move on to do other stuff. But he gets these people to host weekend shows for free. 2, 3, 4 hour streams for free for his fucking channel. Like, it's fucking insane.
It was similar to what he calls 20 and back. What I was introduced into, that we didn't call it 20 and back. But
what I was introduced to, we didn't call it 20 back. Oh, okay. So what did you guys call it?
It was definitely something that I had to pay penance for getting out of the program.
Okay, interesting. I'm not quite sure how to wrap that around my head, but
well, I don't either, to tell you the truth. It was a very strange
I bet
experience.
You don't. It was a very strange experience. So he's claiming to have been part of a program like this. The UFO whistleblower who bypassed mainstream media, bypassed the Aero office, and we'll get to that, bypassed any legitimate way of releasing this whistleblowing. What does he do? He shows up randomly in a space on a Friday or Saturday night, I think, and does a James Fox movie. Let me tell you, whatever credibility James Fox had should be gone for you. He lost any hope of credibility with me a long time ago, especially when he couldn't get Senator Schumer's name right. A lot of people think he's very genuine in his endeavors to make films. I don't believe that. In my opinion, I think he hit that wall. He's come to those crossroads and he's taken the easy way out. Because if this asshole is in his documentary as some sort of whistleblower, and in less than 24 hours, the internet has murderboarded this guy to a point where it is 100% crystal clear, as far as I'm concerned, that this guy is full of shit, completely delusional, or a little bit of both.
I'm not quite comfortable talking about the whole thing in detail at this point because it was so horrible in many ways, but maybe sometime in the future I'll be able to come to grips with it and be able to talk about it.
okay, much respect. I want you to be comfortable here.
Much respect, dog. Oh, thanks for giving me some bullshit. Oh, I love you. Thanks, Jason. You're so brave. How many people said that in this fucking space, dude? If I could do a supercut of how many people are like, oh, thank you. Oh, you're so brave. Oh, wow. What a fucking hero you are. Oh, woo, gee whiz. You're the bee's knees, Jason Sands. Oh, man. Yeah. Tell me more about 20 and back. Yeah. Please be a little more vague about the program. Yeah. Please say a bunch of shit without saying anything of substance. You're the best. What a hero. Oh, man. Amazing. What bravery. Like, fuck if I could make a super cat of all of you assholes in this space. On your knees, slurping this up. It's incredible. And then looking up and going, can I have some more? Like, it's fucking incredible. It's incredible. Let's go. Oopsie. Let's go to
this
our next
question.
Clip. And this is the clips where I got in here and asked some questions. And personally, out of all the questions that I heard, I thought these were pretty fucking good. So let's listen to his responses to some of my questions.
I've got a couple questions, if that's okay, Jason. The first is, I noticed that I was going through your Twitter account. It seems like you're new to Twitter, but I did notice that the two people you follow, the first is James Cameron, and the second is Representative Eric Burleson.
James Fox.
Or James Fox, excuse me. Thank you for the correction. The second is Rep Eric Burleson. Curious to know, did you meet with Eric Burleson?
No, I have not.
Okay, and what do you think of his recent statements from last week when he came out of a skiff meeting saying that his skepticism was more validated coming out of that skiff meeting?
I would expect that. I mean, honestly, the only people that
Why would he expect that? I don't think he's being honest there. Why would he expect the senator or congressman, excuse me, to come out with more skepticism? And just real quick, I want to show this as well. People have gone through what this guy likes. Okay, this is one of the things that he likes from his Twitter account. And a lot of this stuff has been erased since. But one of the likes that he had on April 6th from a Candy Vega, is that true? With a smiley face. And then a woman here in a very scantily clad tank top. Okay. Then it says, ladies, if you have small tits, guys still want to see them. Okay, whistleblower. Well, honorable whistleblower. Okay, here's another cute one. This one is a tweet that he liked by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Pretty sure. Yep, Taylor Greene. Hands down one of the, if not the most conspiracy-laden lawmaker on the Hill. And the fucking dumbest Republican lawmaker on the Hill. I mean, fucking stupid. If you put her brainwaves up against a box of Crayola crayons, there would be more activity in the box of Crayola crayons than there would be in this asshole of a person. But our whistleblower likes her. It's time to begin, and they can't stop what's coming. This was on January 23rd. You know, and this is a person who, again, like, encouraged the insurrection. Big conspiracy theorist. One of the fucking worst people on the Hill. I mean, disgusting. And if you want to see just how fucking gross and awful she is, go look at her audition for American Idol. If you've never seen that one. Oh boy. You want to see a fucking show? Go watch that. That gives you a little taste of the real Marjorie Taylor, whatever the fuck her name is. So this is our whistleblower. These are the things that he likes. He thinks is great.
Interfacing out of Arrow and the Pentagon are those people that are probably part of the program, and why would they change their story? I mean, we need a third party investigating this, and so whoever's telling and reporting on all of this to Congress could be just continuing the cover-up story or the cover plan for the program, and they might just be towing the line.
Okay. I am curious to know, do you think that the people in this conversation in this room right now, there's almost 1,000 people listening right now.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
No, I'm not. Yeah, there's almost 1,000 people listening.
And we're being broadcast on Space Out Radio right now as well.
Now listen to this question.
My question here is, speaking of third-party investigators, I think you have a group of some of the finest investigators on the planet. So why can't you, or if you can, when will you reveal the program that you were a part of that confirms the existence of NHI or reverse engineered programs? When will that be public so these group of researchers can begin to FOIA the programs that are being hidden from the American taxpayer in the world?
Now, the reason why I asked this question is because earlier in this discussion, he was talking about how the American people have a right to this information and that he felt compelled to come forward and whistleblow. Okay, fine. But I want to hear the whistle. What are you whistleblowing? And And if you're not getting the help and the attention that you think you should get, you're literally sitting in front of 1,000 of the biggest nerds, a lot of which love to do FOIA requests, that can help you get this information out without revealing sources and methods, without revealing the names of things. There are ways that you can point us in the right direction, and nothing that this man said did that. And I asked him, listen,
that it would be when something I would love to have happen occurs, and that is when the Fight Club of whistleblowers is finally able to meet and start to piece this all together amongst ourselves.
This is a fucking another stupid answer. So his answer to that is, well, what we need is all of the the 40 whistleblowers to get together and make some noise. We've been saying this forever. Why aren't these 40 whistleblowers coordinating? Why didn't they all come out at the same time? That would have been way more powerful than Dave Grush just by himself. How hard is it to organize 40 whistleblowers in this day and age when all of those whistleblowers have been contacted by Christopher Mellon, all of those whistleblowers have been contacted by Lou Elizondo, possibly Sean Cahill, lawmakers that have been having conversation with Ryan Graves and David Fravor and Alex Dietrich. They're also having conversations with these 40 whistleblowers. Like this guy is claiming. He's claiming that he's had these conversations with lawmakers. So all of these people are having all of these conversations with all of these 40 people, and nobody, not one single fucking person has been like, maybe we should have a Zoom meeting and kind of coordinate this. Let's all come out together. Let's all get our shit together, all of our ducks, all of our facts, because I can understand being the only person coming out and saying something that you know you're going to get shit for. I totally understand that. I get that more than most. And there were people who knew I was telling the truth, who some of the same things that were happening to me were happening to them. Dave Scott, Nicole Sackich. Like the exact same thing that happened to me for the Big Phone Home 3 and all of the shit leading up to that happened to them. And they brushed it away under the rug, never talked about it again because they didn't want to rock the access to Lou Elizondo. They didn't want to piss off Sean Cahill, even though he was acting like a fucking psychopath behind the scenes, according to Nicole Sackich. And we've already gone over this story of him yelling at Melinda Leslie in the middle of a fucking UFO convention. We've played you the recreated audio of the transcript of him talking shit about David Fravor. This is just stupid.
The puzzle, I'm sure the other whistleblowers have other pieces that I have no idea about. I'm sure that David Grush has a better handle on a lot of what they have to say than I do, because he was talking to people that are probably...
David Grush interviewed all 40 of these guys. The fucking great intelligence mastermind that David Grush is. He didn't decide to get all these people in the same fucking room. All 40 of these people coming out at the same time, there's safety in numbers. There's safety in numbers. So if, let's say, just for pure fantasy, let's just say for a second that Jason Sands is telling the truth. If there was 39 other veterans behind him in the same intelligence community positions saying the exact same thing, he should have no fear in naming what the program is. Because he'd have 40 other guys with similar stories that have names to similar programs and release this information at the same time. They can't arrest all of you. And if they did, holy fuck, that would be a massive human interest story. 40 UFO whistleblowers all got arrested for the federal government by revealing classified information about alien visitations. That shouldn't be an arrestable offense. These guys should be fucking heroes. And they've exhausted, and you could literally say that they've exhausted every single legal effort. They've reached out to lawmakers. They've done everything in their power to be able to whistleblow, except for organize and do it at the same time. Don't want to do that. That'd be that would work too well. Like, why aren't they doing that, Nick Gold, you little dickhead? Like, why aren't they doing that? These 40 whistleblowers, no. Instead, they come out in a fucking Twitter space in the James Fox movie, and this other mysterious dickhead here who was floating around these spaces, his name's Steve. Very mysterious little asshole. Sounds a lot like Nick Gold. Sounds a lot like Marie von Kloppenstick. Sounds a lot like our dickhead friend Daniel Miller. Yeah, I know you watch the show, dickhead. Thanks. Like, all of your bullshit arguments. You guys all sound the exact fucking same. And this guy, Steve, is having DMs and private conversations in spaces where he's validating what Jason Sands is saying. He's feeding the fire of conspiracy. And all of these conspiracy dickheads in these spaces, especially Kimball and his buddies, again, on their knees, slurping up every fucking drop. Fucking suckers.
Part of other parts of the program that I was not. And
well, can you clarify for me exactly what you're whistleblowing then?
Yeah.
I'm whistleblowing on the fact of what I've told everybody here tonight, and the fact that we're not alone. I know that for a fact. I wish everybody did. That should be...
How does he know that for a fact? No facts have been whistleblowed yet for us to know those are facts. You're just telling stories.
That is unclassified currently and should be made more publicly known, that there is good reason for the program to maintain the national security and what it's working on. However, there needs to be more transparency in a classified environment where the committee members and Congress is more aware than they currently are, so that everybody has a good comfort level. And I think that will get some of the heat off of the program people, and it will help in the long run, just if they're just more forthcoming, even in a classified environment. And I think that...
I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
But when it comes to the FOIA requests, I guess ultimately, you know, there probably is some stuff that I know that I could FOIA, but
we can help you FOIA it again. Like, you've got,
like, he's got to go through his attorneys to see what he can FOIA. Why? And again, no, you don't. You got a room of 1,000 people, of which a large percentage, not large, but enough of a percentage, know how to do FOIA requests. And you know, John Greenwald and people like Stephen Greenstreet were listening to this, the FOIA kings. Jeremy McGowan is another one. Chris, Paranormal Chris, is a great FOIA inquirer. You know, not as good as those other guys, but he does his fair share. But more importantly, is when these FOIAs come in, he's one of these great people that can help you decipher what all of this military jargon is. Jeremy's really good with that. Chris is really good with that. And that shit is valuable.
1,000 people here. A lot of them know how to do great FOIA requests.
Yeah, I would like to discuss that with some of the lawyers that I have on my side first, to make sure that I'm not overstepping any classification bounds.
So, yeah, just listen to what I say. I mean, I address this to his face, but...
Well, is any of that information in the film for James Fox?
No, because it'd be classified. He wouldn't be able to show his film if that was the case.
Okay, so I just want to be clear, just so I'm not confusing anything. What you're whistleblowing is your personal belief, not any knowledge or direct access or firsthand hands-on experiences with any of these programs, government programs, reverse engineering, legacy programs.
No, he's saying he's a firsthand.
This is what happens in these spaces too. I didn't ask you. I'm asking him. Why the fuck are you answering? So already the answer has been tainted, and you're giving him time to fucking think. Shut the fuck up. Whoever the fuck that was in this space, which I think it was Astral. Shut up. Let him answer the fucking question. His feet are the one on the fire, not you. I don't give a fuck what you think.
Firsthand whistleblower, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is,
well, how so?
I'm referring to the public aspect of this.
Right. So, yeah, that's my point, is that you are whistleblowing your public knowledge of this phenomenon, not anything directly connected to our United States government.
Right, because I have to do that in a classified.
Right. That's right. I'm whistleblowing my own personal shit. My beliefs. That's what I'm whistleblowing. Not any actual government information, just my fucking beliefs. Yeah, buddy, you got it right. He answered it right there. He answered it right there. That's what this is not whistleblowing. This is an asshole sharing his opinions on his belief and his personal abduction by a blue alien and his 20 and back experience going to Mars.
Skiff.
And you've spoken to many senators already, correct? And lawmakers.
Oh, yeah.
You've spoken to Arrow, too.
Yeah, I've spoken.
Again, not talking to you.
Congress, and I've spoken to Arrow. I've spoken to the ICIG about all of this.
But you can feel it. You can feel
that, honestly,
from the hosts. They're like, I don't like these fucking questions. I'm going to answer them for him. Stop asking these hard questions. You're being rude to our fucking liar over here. Stop being rude to the guy lying, please. Again, put the gun a little higher and just put your finger on the trigger, please. Stupid assholes.
Honestly, if any one of...
And I was dealing with that shit all weekend. Stuff like that. Where people would answer for other people, or even worse, they just mute you or cut you off. And that's what happens when I get in here for the second time. We'll get to it.
Those organizations were to ask me today, what can you offer? I would say, dude, not only did I hand you everything on a silver platter, names, places, everything you wanted to freaking know, but I'm sure the other whistleblowers filled in a lot of gaps for you too. What's the problem? And that's why I think it's kind of abhorrent for the state of what has been reported to Congress, and what Congress is sometimes saying is that it seems like somebody's not able to come up with a good way to present what they have in their possession, because they have been literally given everything on a silver platter. They just haven't revealed all of it because it's classified. And I think that's not quite doing justice by what these whistleblowers have done.
I agree.
And that's why they cut me off the
Jason,
first time.
Thanks for the questions, Lou. Let's move on to the next one. You're beyond your 3 questions there. We'll come back around though, Lou.
I'll be on my 3 questions. Okay, I get that. That's fair. And he said he'll come back to me, and then he dropped me down. So that's the way you do that. I understand that part. Like, I truly do. If that's the way you do it, again, there's 1,000 people in this space. Like, I was lucky to get in there and get my questions. And for that, I'm appreciative. And the way that I was dropped down the first time, no issues with, hey, come back let's see if we can get you in here in about another 20 minutes once we cycle through all these other questions. And that's what I did. It took me another hour and I think 20 minutes to get up there again and ask more questions. Yeah, it was a while. I mean, look at the timeline. Here we're at 2 hours and 43 minutes of the show, and over here we're 4 hours. So, I mean, it took almost 2 hours to do that, to get back in and ask more questions, okay? But I got back in there and I asked some more questions. And I think that first round of questions was pretty fucking good. And I think we got some very interesting and true answers, right? He's not whistleblowing any government secrets. He's whistleblowing his personal belief. So that's not whistleblowing. That's for sure. It does not classify as a whistleblower whatsoever. Whatsoever. So let's listen to these round of questions.
Thanks. I'll be 100% honest with you, Jason. I, like a lot of people in this conversation, I'm very skeptical of the things you're saying. I have so many questions for you that wouldn't be appropriate in a space like this because I know a lot of people are waiting in line. I would love to speak with you on my show if you'd ever consider doing something like that. If the things that you're saying are true, then there should be no fear of answering any questions. I will say you keep referring to the ICIG and to the Aero office and to lawmakers as they have verified who you are.
Right, and this was a thing that he was using as proof. When people were asking him,
my issue is,
hold on a second. When people were asking him, hey, like what's tangible? What is tangible about your story? And he's like, well, the tangible part is that I've spoken to the Aero, I've spoken to lawmakers, and I've had interviews. I can't remember what the third one was. Lawmakers and Aero, essentially in the Department of Defense, right? And he's spoken to people like David Grush, and all of these people have verified who he is. He works where he works. His name is what it is. He said he has the job title that he says he has. And when you go to Paranormal Chris, if you listen to anything of the things that Paranormal Chris was saying, when we look at the qualifications you need to have a signal intelligence classification and job title, all you need is a high school diploma. That's all you need. And a pretty decent score on your ASVAB. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. But listen to this. Let's continue with this. Obviously, I'm asking him to come on the show because I'd love to really grill his ass here.
Is that they have not verified the claims that you are making. Nobody has verified the claims that you're making from an official standpoint.
So again, they verified who he was, but then nobody has verified his claims. Nobody. And if we're going off what we heard before, these claims, again, are personal beliefs. That's why nobody's verifying it from Aero or the Department of Defense or from Capitol Hill. Like, they're never going to do that.
And they could verify those things without revealing classified information or sources and methods. Not one lawmaker, not one person from Aero, and not one congressional person at all have come forward and said, yes, we have a whistleblower that has given us information that we believe to be credible, and his name and his identity will be coming out soon. And this idea that we're whistleblowing and the way we're doing it is through a James Fox movie. Like, to me, that's not the way to get this truth out there. If it was genuine, hard data backed truth, I could be wrong on that, but that's what I want to explore with you if you'd be open to that.
Well, I'll consider it. And like I said before,
I'll consider it.
Everything I've told them in the classified environment is the stuff that honestly I feel they did a disservice with, because if they had gone to the places and even taken me with them, they would bona fidely know everything that I've been telling you is the truth.
If that's the case, Jason, I just don't understand why you don't tell everyone right now where those places are. If you're not getting the the help you think you deserve, and that's been mandated by Congress, and that was written by Christopher Mellon and the people that you trust. I don't understand. Like, a James Fox movie is not going to help bring that truth forward.
No, it's not, and I agree. There's another part to this that's very legal, and it has to be done through the proper channels. And right now, those locations and those people's names are classified. It's just as bad as like giving up a CIA agent's names list.
Well, you're able to talk about NHI, right? And so was that approved by Dopser? Because that should be classified, right?
It is not.
You are confirming the existence of NHI tonight.
Yeah, honestly, that's a God-given gift for every man, woman, and child on the face of the earth.
Okay, so was that something that was approved by Dopser, or are you going around the classification protocol to share that with us tonight?
No, I did the Dopser on all of that.
Okay, so the Dopser lets you talk about the existence of non-human intelligence, and that is a fact according to you, but you can't tell us the program that it was involved with?
The program name is classified, and the program itself is classified.
But not the NHI?
Right? That makes no sense. He's allowed to talk about the aliens in the program and the reverse technology. That part is not classified. That part, the DOD is like, okay. And by the way, Dopser, again, is all Dopser does is check to make sure that the information doesn't bump up against any actual classified stuff. So he can say aliens all he wants. He can say NHI all he wants in a Dopser. And if there's no actual programs with those things in it, Dopser's gonna be like, yeah, go for it. Talk about it. Fine. As long as it doesn't fuck with national security, you can go with it. And I cannot imagine a scenario where alien bodies and alien craft can be spoken about openly, but not the program that they sit in. How does that make sense? And we had a conversation with Chris Bartell in a space, and we're going to have Chris on the show. I'm going to reach out to him this week, see if we can get him on Friday. If not, I'll aim for next week. But the thing that Chris said, and it's so fucking true, none of these whistleblowers hold positions or work in places where the most high-tech toys and technology from the United States military come from. None of these guys have worked at Area 51. None of these guys have had the top secret clearance that a person like Chris Bartell has had. He worked at Area 51. He took the Janet flights into that base. None of these guys look, if this was true, if this technology was real, you would be getting whistleblowers from the Department of Energy and DARPA. That's where the toys are. That's where the tech is. And none of these whistleblowers hold any positions in anywhere near these departments or bases where this stuff should be coming from. Not one of them.
Yeah, not the NHI.
How does that make sense?
I addressed that earlier. If you were in earlier, you would have heard me say, because the NHI are not part of our government. They don't care.
Listen to this.
What our classification is. They don't care what our government says.
If they don't care about the classification, if they don't care what our government says, then why do they care about what the name of the program is? That's where the aliens stop? I don't understand. None of that makes fucking sense, Jason Sands. The aliens don't need our permission to know about them? Yeah, no shit, Dick Tracy. Like, no shit.
Care what you say. about it. They don't play by our rules. They're NHI.
If they didn't play by our rules and they're NHI, then why don't they fucking show themselves? If they're such rule breakers, if they're such bad boys of cosmology, why don't they fucking show themselves in a big, undeniable way? If they don't care, where are they? In the 80 years of science that's been around this topic, where's the evidence?
Lou tripped over his shoelaces. What's going on?
That's where they kicked me out.
And then JJ.
And they said Lou tripped over his shoelaces. They just kicked me out because his answer was, oh, well, the aliens don't follow our rules. That's why I'm allowed to talk about it. You guys are the worst hosts of Spaces. And this is Astral. Let's see who this other dickhead was.
Good question.
You've got... God, who the fuck is that? I don't know. Some Rob something. UFO Intros, which is Kimball. So, again, if you see any Spaces hosted by these assholes, run. Just go the other way. Or if you are going to listen to it, seriously take it with an absolute less than a grain of salt. Less than. So that's your whistleblower douchebag. What is this one?
And just regarding, people that are speaking in the community, they're kind of leading people, I guess, the community astray. And I'm not saying you're trying to advocate for their cancellation, but what's could you mention names or just stories that might be leading the community or the truth of this phenomenon in the wrong direction?
Yeah, I agree. There are some people that are doing that, and that's why.
Okay. Let's get rid of this stupid shit. Let's get rid of this. 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 Let's get rid of that. All right. Let's take a look at some other things here about Jason Sands. Okay, so I'm on UFO Shane's thing. Okay, so a couple other things here to go for. Oh, by the way, I want to share this as well. This is if you guys want to learn everything there is to possibly know about the 20 and back cult and bullshit, I'm going to include this link in the chat right now, in the live chat. I'll include it in the link after the show. But go check out Weird Reads with Emily. She does a whole breakdown of the 20 and back. So go check it out. Show her some love. Again, she covers this whole secret space program. David Wilcock and this Corey Good dickhead and the lizard people, all of it. Just go watch it if you want to learn about 20 and back and what it is. Okay, so this was from 5 hours ago. And this was confirmed by Stephen Greenstreet. So he writes, Eric Davis comes out against Jason Sands and his wild alien claims. So this is a message from Eric Davis. I think this is in a Facebook group. But it says Eric Davis. Okay, he writes, Sands. Again, this is Eric Davis, who's incapable of telling a lie, even though he was basically busted in a lie the other day. We'll go over that here in a second, too. Eric Davis. Sands turned out to be either a liar or a believer of his own bullshit. He was never vetted and his story keeps changing. People I collaborate with have met him and realized that his claims don't hold water. The only thing that they have felt was certain for meeting Sands is that he likely did work at the United States Air Force bases. So even Eric Davis doesn't believe this fucking asshole. Even Eric Davis is like, yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. This was also Christopher Mellon tweeted out some wild stuff today. Wise Monkey made me aware of this, and he writes, with no text, Alien spaceship circle jerkers talking alien spaceships like it's some kind of evidence. I'm betting mystery government official is Reed. Put off Davis or outsider Podesta. Nonsense, of course, just confirmation of oral histories spreading. Okay, so this is just, again, like stuff that Christopher Mellon is sharing, and he blacks out the people who he's talking with, right? Or he's talking about. And again, this is just like signal conversations that he's putting out there now that just, they don't give you names. They don't give you any context. Just, oh, these are a bunch of assholes talking in a private conversation about their personal belief system. Their echo chamber. This is a fucking echo chamber. Blank and I are making huge progress getting into the CR program. He plans to meet with you at some point. The blank would be slack-jawed if he found out what we know now. What we now know. Christopher Mellon writes something that's completely blacked out. And then a senior United States official writes to him, right now, we haven't gone that far back. We're dealing with the recovered UAP that landed in Kingman, Arizona in the 1950s. Fucking stupid. We're vacuuming up info as blank gets read in. We now know the management structure and security control systems and ownership of the CR. We also, I'm assuming CR means crash retrieval. We also know who recovers landed or crashed UAPs under what authorities. We also know that a still highly classified memo by a Secretary of the United States Air Force in the 1950s is still in effect to maintain the cover-up of UAPs. We also know that the SES-2, who's the Air Force gatekeeper, name redacted here, but provided to Congress. Like, so he's allowed to say this shit with all these redactions, and I don't know what the fuck this proves. Again, we don't know who he's talking about, what they're talking about, but now we know if he's talking to an active military member, this is foilable. And if it was given to Congress, it's foilable. So I don't know if, again, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is going to come back to bite Mellon in the ass. I have a feeling it will. But it won't matter because by the time we get the FOIA request back, it'll be 2 years from now. And this won't matter anymore, you know? And that's another sort of tactic of these idiots, you know? It's just say whatever you want. Who cares? The FOIA isn't going to come in for another fucking year. Let's just ride this wave for a year. And then when it comes in, we can just ignore it, not address it. Or if we do address it, we'll just spin our own bullshit on it. We're done all the time. So here we have Alien Girl 111, and let me tell you, I am sick of your shit, Amy, or Nikki Starchild, whatever the fuck you go by these days. I used to have a lot of patience with you. I used to be just as patient as I could be with you because it felt like for a long time you were just being genuine. You were just genuinely curious, but that has gone out the window so many times because either you are insanely naive or you're just fucking dumb. Like really stupid. Really, really stupid. I'm going to go with the latter. Actually, I take that back. I think you do this on purpose. I think you know exactly what you're doing because I've been told by people who've spoken to you at conferences that that's exactly what you said to them. Yeah, I know it's bullshit, but hey, man, I got a channel. And she's expressed those types of things in Skyfire News spaces where she gets excited that she gets to talk to Keemstar. She gets so excited when somebody fucking talks to her of any sort of relevance. And she brought Keemstar on her show thinking, oh, this is going to boost my channel. People are going to love this. Nobody fucking watched because you are one of the worst places for information about the UFO topic anywhere. Your show sucks. I've been wanting to say that for a long fucking time. But after this weekend and after the people I see you fucking rubbing shoulders with just to get a monicum of fucking influence or just one more subscriber is fucking gross, Nikki. It's disgusting. You suck. And this is proof of that. The one time, look, this is just 5 hours ago, so fucking excited to talk to fucking liars. How excited she gets to talk to a liar and rub shoulders with the biggest conspiracy theorists and fucking ufology. One of them being Richie from GoofOn. I unblocked and put in our UCR Rewind, the video compilation of Richie GoofOn's best fucking moments. Misogynist, racist, piece of shit. He's threatened the life of fucking, and threatened to sexually assault Brandon Fugel's wife, which he did not take kindly to. And I have a feeling that's why maybe he shut up a little bit. Maybe he's toned down a little bit here in the last year ever since making those threats. Because I know for sure Brandon Fugel found your ass. Found where you live. Found what you do. And it wouldn't shock me if some people came knocking on the door from law enforcement based off of the fucking things you said. And I know me and Brandon Fugel disagree, but I would never say that I'm going to assault any part of his family or him. I would never fucking say that. I get frustrated with the bullshit that's being sput out of his ranch, but I don't want the guy to be harmed or his family to be harmed because of that. That's what Rich does. And, oh, surprise, surprise, who do we have here? Who do we have here, Mr. Oh, I'm so innocent. I don't help push conspiracies, Mr. Ice Cream fucking Terrestrial, whatever the fuck your handle is. The guy who I ripped his asshole apart last night in a space because he loves going on the Alien Addict. The guy who hosts insurrectionists and right-wing propaganda bullshit. You can't play innocent when you're sitting on GoofOn's show. Like, that's gone. And now you're fucking aware of it. But this panel reminds me so much of the panel that I was speaking with 2 years ago, trying to bridge a gap between people that disagree, genuinely giving my efforts. And then the very next day, all of these dickheads on this panel and some other people just took all of that goodwill and all of that effort and just shit all over it. And so when they did that, I made a response video. That video is live right now on this channel. Go to the UCR Rewind playlist. It should be in there. I'm not sure what order, but it's in there. You want to see who GoofOn is? You want to see who Amy just loves to fucking hang out with and defend? Over multiple times. And I have warned Amy privately multiple times. Do not trust this guy. He's going to fucking burn you. As a matter of fact, again, either too stupid to realize or doesn't care because she knows it's good for clicks. But she did a show where he was literally insulting her to her face. And she's like, yeah, but what about this, Richie? Oh, I'm a fucking idiot, but okay. Okay, but what do you think about Roswell? The dumbest person in this discussion is Nikki Starchild / Alien Girl. The dumbest. Not the worst person. Not mean, just fucking stupid. Stupid. God, I've been man, I fucking get that off my chest for years. But after this week, no more fucking Mr. Nice Guy. The gloves are off. Like, I'm really... You thought I was mocking you dickheads before? Just wait. Just wait until you see the mirror that I am constructing, that I'm going to hold up in front of the entire fucking community. It's It's in the works. And fingers crossed, we'll be at South by Southwest next year. If all goes perfect. So get ready for that, you fucking little assholes.
Actually be released?
Yeah, I believe so. I know Groot.
So this is the panel of shitheads talking to our brand new whistleblower, Jason Sands, here in the bottom left-hand corner. And by the way, he didn't name his name on here wasn't Jason Sands. It's another name that apparently is a different whistleblower that's coming out here very soon. That's going to be in the James Fox documentary.
Bruges. And I've been with him the whole way through, but yeah.
So Ted Howells, that's what he's got as his name here. So Ted Howells is the third whistleblower we're going to hear from. Apparently good buddies with this jerk off, and he's also going to be featured in the James Fox documentary. So let's listen to what this dickhead has to say. Sorry.
And I've been with him the whole way through, but yeah, he's really pushed for that. And I know that's one thing that I'd love to see his work.
Look how serious Amy is. This is her investigative reporter face. Let me listen to everything this fucking liar has to say, so then I could go turn around, do a show, and completely misquote everything.
Ted, you know Grush?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I'm in the intel community too. I've worked with him during the UAP task force.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, we still talk to each other.
More you know, reading Rainbow. Hey.
That's why
More you know, reading Rainbow. That came from Spokesman for the Gods. That's his name. Then we got Ice Cream Shots. That's terrestrial. And then we got Lynn. Whoo! Want to talk about cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs? This woman thinks she's a witch. She thinks she's an actual witch. That's who this person is. These four idiots down here, I have no clue. But I have a feeling if the top row is the barometer, sort of the baseline for who's on this show, I have a feeling the last four anyway in the bottom row are worse or just as bad.
And so
my uncle worked at
into the back room just to kind of see if anybody had any real questions
from him too.
This is amazing that you actually know the guy and you're here for a minute.
Would actually be released.
Yeah,
man.
Into the back room just to kind of
Amy's journal. What a little weirdo. Little fucking weirdo, man. And I know UFO Jane just did with a show with her and whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. Just the worst, man. The absolute worst, these fucking people. So this is another release from Stephen Greenstreet from today. And it says, Sean Kirkpatrick responds to David Grush's, quote, bad blood. So he talked to Sean Kirkpatrick, and I like that Stephen Greenstreet has, it seems like, a pretty good communication open with Kirkpatrick, and there is an interview coming with Stephen Greenstreet and Kirkpatrick, and I am fucking dying for this interview to come out. Please, Stephen, put everything down and please put this out, because I'm dying. I'm dying for this fucking interview. Sean Kirkpatrick responds to David Grush's bad blood. A recent FOIA release of Pentagon's documents from the Black Vault seems to infer Pentagon UFO head Sean Kirkpatrick had known UFO whistleblower David Grush, quote, for years, and that the two had bad blood dating back to 2015. And then we've got the highlighted messages and the source documents here. He writes, I felt the context of Kirkpatrick and Grush having a years-long relationship of, quote, bad blood was something potentially very important to reach out to Kirkpatrick for comment. Grush obviously won't respond to me. So here's Kirkpatrick's direct response about Dave Grush. I barely knew Dave Grush. He never worked for me. He briefed me once that I can recall when I was the deputy director of U.S. Spacecom, perhaps around 2019. I believe he came in with Jay Stratton to discuss starting their research in the UAPTF. I don't recall him prior to that time. I don't know any more now than I did at the time of those messages what he was talking about when he refers to, quote, bad blood since 2015. I was on assignment elsewhere at that time. So another lie, as far as we can tell, from Dave Grush, making excuses, any excuse he could in the book to not talk to Arrow and Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. He not only put excuses out there, like stuff like bad blood between them, but he also just fucking ghosted them after agreeing to a date, location, and time. And by the way, I also went back and noticed after I did the show covering those messages that they sent him the message at 10:30 in the morning saying, hey, we've been here for a half hour. So that means that the agreed meet time was 10 o'clock in the morning. And at 10:30, they send the message, hey, where the fuck are you? He doesn't respond until almost 6 o'clock in the afternoon. For a man who's dying to get his truth out there, he sure is being a fucking asshole about it. I had many people come to brief me. I've also have a reputation for not suffering fools. And when briefers come in ill-prepared and deliver a poorly thought through thesis, I will pick out the flaws in the argument. Perhaps he was one of those. No idea. So Kirkpatrick is telling you straight up, look, if you're going to come in here and lay out a thesis and proposal for me, I'm going to put it on my murder board and I'm going to ask you direct questions about it. And if you can't answer them, or if your thesis is flawed, I'm going to find those flaws and press you on them because you're asking me for approval on things. And I'm not going to give a fucking approval until the thesis is more than just a thesis. It's actual intelligence. He continues to write, so I had no relationship with Grush. He never worked for me. The only thing I recall was him coming in with Stratton. I have no idea what he's referring to. And then Green Street writes, my one-on-one video interview with Sean Kirkpatrick should be out sometime over the next few weeks, working on a bunch of non-UFO stuff at the moment. Please stop the non-UFO stuff. I'm begging you, man. Please. I want to listen to this interview because it's got to be incredible. What is this you're sending me, Shane? Oh, this is a message from Chris Bartell. I don't want to read this because this looks like a private message. But yeah, basically everything that I said about Chris Bartell, he confirms in this message and what he thinks about Kirkpatrick. You know, and so I don't want to read this because I don't have his permission to. But yeah, doesn't shock me. Doesn't shock me. And we'll get to those questions when he's here. We'll get to those opinions when he comes in and talks to us. Okay, so there's that. What else here did I want to cover? I don't know. That's really not that relevant or important. Oh, by the way, Moskovich confirmed that he didn't go to the Aeroskiff briefing. Just straight up didn't go. I guess he had better shit to do. I don't know. This advocate for UAP truth doesn't show up to the fucking skiff meetings that he bitches and complains to get. Just again, weird behavior from these people. Oh yes, there was, okay, so there's two things. The first is I want to talk about just quickly, and this is just a pinned tweet that I have now. And if you want to read it, check out the pinned tweet, but I'm going to go ahead and read it now. And it was basically my review. I got, what's funny, fuck, this was so funny. I got a message from Mark O'Connell, who was featured in the John Oliver Last Week Tonight episode that he did on UFOs this past weekend. And I have not heard from Mark O'Connell since he got mad at me at the Big Phone Home 1 for what he thought was abusive behavior. Like, at the Big Phone Home 1. He was the only person that sent me an email like this, and I had a long conversation with him, and I tried to be like, dude, what did we do? Like, what did we do? But I think I get it now. He's one of these guys where any sort of critique of this stuff, I guess he just fucking hates. So there was, I just want to read this here. Let me just find it real quick. I think this is, nope, that's not it. Give me 1 second. I want to find it. I swear to you. Okay, here it is. So I wrote, it was in response to somebody. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I just wrote this. Or yeah, I retweeted it with somebody's, oh God, who was it? I think it was Rob Sheridan who wrote this fucking like op-ed about the John Oliver episode that was coming out. It hadn't even released yet. And he was already pissed off about it. And so I wrote with that sort of retweeted, and he blocked me since then. I wrote, the only evidence surrounding the UFO topic are lies. I have a feeling the Last Week Tonight team will follow the facts to the litany of unreliable narrators that have a cult mindset, mental illness, trauma, leaders of online harassment campaigns, and in some cases, top secret clearance. This is an epic failure within the intelligence community, and it's terrifying. Believers like Rob will really struggle with accepting facts. And so I saw the piece last night. And I get a message 7 hours ago this morning from Mark O'Connell, who I, again, have not spoken to at all in the better part of 3 years. And I tried to leave it with him as cordial as I could. And Mark O'Connell, if you don't know, author of The Close Encounters, man, writer. He was a writer for Star Trek. This guy was on our show a few times. And he also wrote for he was Star Trek, The Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine, and including Who Mourns for Morn and Variety's 33rd greatest Star Trek episode of all time. He wrote. So that's a big claim to fame for him, which is what that's. Yeah. If I wrote the 33rd best episode of Star Trek ever, I would put that in my profile. Like, I'd be super proud of that. But he writes to me after I wrote that, and after this came out, he writes, now that you've seen the show, assuming you have, what do you think? And so I'm thinking he's writing this because he thinks that piece was some sort of slam dunk for UAP truth. And so I responded with, Last Week Tonight's UFO segment was amazing. It's exactly how I feel and what I've been saying for the last 2 years. The discoveries in the conversation should be boring because most of the time, the amazing turns out to be explainable when you dig into the root of the mystery. However, only when there is enough data can we find answers. Which just goes back to that NASA presentation where basically John Oliver's making the joke. It took him 4 hours to explain trigonometry on the go fast, which at first looked fucking amazing. But then when you get the math, it's the most boring fucking answer in the world. But why? You figured it out. Like, you know now. But that's not sexy. It's not fun. And he highlights that beautifully in this. Beautifully. I go on to say the distrust of the Department of Defense is well earned. It will take years of transparency from the Department of Defense AARO's office to undo the 80 years of gaslighting they've committed. Because now 80 years of smokescreens and obfuscation have manifested themselves into a genuine national security problem with drone incursions that lawmakers and intelligence community agents think are, quote, non-human intelligence visiting Earth. I would love to see a part 2 that includes a deep dive into Luis Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, and the To the Stars Academy techno scam and the manipulation, lies, and harassment they've unleashed on a curious civilians who were convinced these people were well-intentioned. And I tagged all of these people in this, including John Oliver and the Last Week Tonight team. I hope they see this, but I doubt they will. Hopefully they do a part 2, because I think if that research team digs into OSAP, ATIP, Elizondo, Mellon, and TTSA, they're going to find a lot of things that at the surface look amazing, but by the end, when you do the trigonometry and the math, you find out it's not as amazing as it looks on the surface. And I think that's the one thing that his piece missed in some of this. He, in a lot of ways, John Oliver, I think in a lot of ways are seeing this. They like, all they've got is 20 minutes to give you the history of UFOs, both from the United States government DOD perspective and from the civilian perspective, and why there is constant fucking butting of the heads there. Because in a lot of cases, civilians, military personnel have been gaslit and fucking treated like shit for just simply saying what they saw. And the reason why the Department of Defense was doing that was to get people to point in the sky and say, oh my God, alien, instead of, oh my God, you new United States Navy Air Force plane or Navy plane. And they literally made that joke in the fucking piece. Again, I've been saying this shit for 2 fucking years now. And now I've got the research team of Last Week Tonight confirming everything I've been saying. And I got a funny story for you at the end of this. Just wait. This is the best part of this whole thing. For me, anyway. I would also like to see a deep dive into the congressional lobbying efforts of organizations like the Soul Foundation and Americans for Safe Aerospace. I want to see them research Dave Grush and the fact that he's a former intelligence officer who can't decipher bad intelligence from good intelligence regarding UFOs and NHI. I can't imagine someone like that was tasked with protecting classified information. And that is exactly what Sean Kirkpatrick has also said as well. It's scary to think that these guys who are intelligence people cannot decipher the intelligence. That's fucking terrifying. How many more David Grushes exist in our intelligence community? We know of at least 40. One of whom surfaced this week publicly is Jason Sands 321359887. He has made some very outlandish claims about being forced into a secret space program where he was sent to Mars, reversed and aged, his mind was wiped, and then put back on Earth to continue everyday life. He's an employee with top secret clearance in our intelligence community. It's a big problem that the Department of Defense has to address, especially in the coming days of artificial intelligence and bots pumping out bad information to fracture the institutions that have kept us safe in a democracy for over 200 years. Thank you for asking me this question, Mark. I love the quote that they used from your interview. I hope they continue to dig. I have a feeling if they do, they will find similar boring results in the people who have been pushing the reality of UFOs in bad faith, 9.2 out of 10, to which we have not gotten a response from Mark O'Connell yet. I wonder why. I wonder why. We freezing frames again? What is happening? I think we'll be okay. We're not, it's not too bad. I'm looking at, we're dropping about 7.2 frames. So we're okay. We should be okay. Apologies. Thank you for being patient on that. So looks like we're okay. So yeah, we have not heard anything from Mark O'Connell. Now, the best part about this whole thing is my mom called me. She was having physical therapy on one of her shoulders. And while she was doing it, the TV was on, and Last Week Tonight came up, and she just was kind of forced to watch it. And the UFO segment came up, and she called me immediately after she was done watching it and came out of her physical therapy. And she's like, hey, did you see John Oliver on this Last Week Tonight show? And I was like, yep, I sure did, Mom. What did you think of it? I loved it. Man, that guy can really do some good research. I was like, interesting. Why do you say that? And she's like, well, everything that he was saying, I was like, oh my God, Lewis said that. Oh my God, Lewis said that. Oh my God, Lewis said that. And I said, Mom, you get it now. You understand what I was saying 2 years ago? And you understand now why I'm so passionate about this stuff? Because the people who fed me this shit, and what this thing doesn't cover is the manipulation and the lies that these government employees have been telling citizens like me. They took advantage of me. They lied to me. They manipulated me. They blackmailed me. You get it now, Mom? She's like, I totally understand. She's like, I get it. I understand. Because look, man, like explaining what happened to me, to my family is so difficult because it's difficult to express 3 years into a conversation that is trackable and that makes sense, because there's so many aspects to this, man. There's the Twitter aspect, there's the personal messages aspect, there's the personal beefs between people, there's the different theories, there's so many things, so many little nuances, the places where you see red flags, and somebody who's not in this hobby, in this world, it just sounds like you're crazy. But when she saw that, and she starts to really understand what I'm going through, she's like, yeah, okay, I raised that kid the right way. And that made me feel fucking amazing. In 20 minutes, John Oliver was able to express everything I've been saying and the frustrations with this topic and the gaslighting like that people have experienced with the Department of Defense. You know, when they explain about Mogul and how that Mogul balloon was longer than the Eiffel Tower and had the same classification as the atom bomb. And when that crashes in a ranch, yeah, like, makes sense how people can confuse it. And then when the department 50 years later, the Department of Defense comes out and says, okay, here's what it was. People are like, bullshit. If that's what it was, why did it take you assholes 50 years to release it? And they're valid in that anger. But then that anger turns into distrust and a disbelief in our institutions because they've been burned so many fucking times, not on just UFOs, but on a lot of aspects. JFK, just Martin Luther King. Like, there's so many things that the United States government, MK Ultra, that has just been fucking dirty. And the distrust is earned. But I genuinely believe this Aero office is a genuine attempt to clear this mess, to fix the last 80 years of obfuscation, gaslighting, and smoke and mirrors, because they were doing it in the name of national security. Because in 1948 or 1947, there was no fucking internet. There was no way to fact check things. It was 3 stations on the radio and, or maybe like 10 to 15 stations on the radio. I don't even think that. Maybe 1 station, depending on where you lived. Roswell, there's just 1 radio station there. And when you turn on the TV, it was NBC, ABC, CBS. That's it. So the control of information, the grip on that was a lot tighter in 1947 from the Department of Defense standpoint. And again, they much rather have people talking about it being alien than, holy shit, that's a top secret, weapons listening device to listen to nuclear bombs being set off by Russia on the other side of the planet. And they've used that tactic for decades. Now, here we are in 2024, and that tactic is not only obsolete, but it has created a national security hole so massive and so big that they had to create a fucking office to set the record straight on exactly what's happening. And fucking hopefully filter out all of these dumb, idiot, asshole whistleblowers that are making claims based off of shitty intelligence. In some cases, in the case of Dave Grush, I believe he believes some of it. But what I don't believe is that he believes all of it. There's no way. And I don't think his intentions are good. And one of the reasons I don't think his intentions are good, let me look up this video because I just want you guys to hear it. So this way it's not like, oh, you just made that up. On the Danny Jones podcast, he discusses, I'm trying to remember who the guest was. Let me just look at his archive here. I think it was Diana Pasulka. It was. Okay. Let's go. And just in case you guys don't know this little trick, this was a cool little trick that was taught to me by Cosmic Judas. If you want to find parts of a really long fucking show, just you type in transcript, or you hit the transcript, show me the transcript button, and then you type in what word you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for, let's see, what was Danny Jones talking about? Grush. You know what? Let's do penthouse because that's a little more. That should really, really? Anything come up? Let me see, New York City. Maybe it wasn't this interview. Maybe it was. Let me take a look at the other interviews this guy has. Let's see here, videos. Maybe it was this guy. Was it this guy? Actually, yeah, I think it was this
capacity for people.
I think it was this guy. Let's see here. Yeah, because this guy was like talking shit about Dave Grush. I think it was this guy. Let me see here. Okay, right here. So check this out.
What is your opinion on this David Grush fella?
The one everybody's calling a whistleblower?
Yes. And he's talking about he just recently went to New York and did some talk at some penthouse for some billionaire.
He just recently went to New York and did some talk at some penthouse in New York City for a fucking billionaire. I highlighted this as soon as this came out, which was March 18th. So last month. I highlighted this a month ago, this statement right here from Danny Jones. So Danny Jones is getting information that other people aren't. Obviously, right? He's connected to these guys. He's had interviews with these guys or getting interviews with these guys. That to me tells me everything I fucking need to know about Dave Grush. If you've got the fucking money, he'll tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear. Yeah, I'll meet you at your New York City penthouse. You're going to fly me out there, pay for my hotel. And by the way, I will charge you, I don't know, $30,000. I bet you a billionaire is going to have an issue paying that. They don't give a fuck about you. Dave Grush does not fucking care about you. He doesn't give a fuck about truth. All he gives a shit about is telling the truth to the right people. That's why he won't talk to the Washington Post. That's why he won't talk to the New York Times. That's why he only talks to Yes Theory and The Debrief. Because he's full of fucking shit. I have no problem saying I think David Grush is a fucking liar. And I don't care how that fucking triggers you, you maniac UFO cult dickheads. I hope you're fucking spinning in your fucking little room right now going, no, he can't say that. I just fucking did. I think David Grush is fucking lying. Because there's no reason why billionaires can listen to everything he has to say, but he can't tell us. These prophets of fucking profit. I will continue to call these assholes that because that's what they are. They are prophets of profit. All they care about is show me the money, baby. Let me do a movie. You know how many fucking Twitter followers Jason Sands had before he did that fucking conversation? He had less than 50 on Saturday night. Saturday night. He's got 3,600 people following him now. 3,600. And so now he's got a platform where he can spread lies and bullshit. This community basically just created an Ashton Forbes 2.0. And don't be shocked when this asshole starts his own podcast. But first, he's going to use this platform. He's going to wait for the movie to come out. Before he was following two people, let's see who he added onto this following list. Oh, Courtney Marchesani. This is the person who helped bring him to the surface. And he's following Rick Doty. Fucking, there you go. Another one. Another one. The four people he's followed in this time are Rick Doty and this lady who is a psychophysiology PhD candidate currently studying NDEs and synchronous experiences. Author, 4 Gifts of the Highly Sensitive of the Fifth Chambers, and others. This lady was on Spaced Out Radio. She claims to be one of the reasons why this new whistleblower came forward. She clearly doesn't know how to fucking investigate a bag of donuts. Like, she would find no donuts in there if she went in there. Unbelievable. So let's check out her fucking stupid website, just out of curiosity. And I'm giving you guys a little bit extra show here because of the 4 failed starts, so I hope you appreciate it. Shane says, it's taken me a year to get 2,900. A year, this dude, 2,900 followers. A year. This dude says he went to space in the program, and boom, shot right past me. I need to sell lies, what I learned. Yeah. So this is her website. Inspired Health and Wellness Solutions for Holistic Living. This is your investigative person. Courtney Marchesani is the author of 4 Gifts of the Highly Sensitive and developer of the Highly Sensitive Gifts Test, named as the 2017 Hay House Writers Workshop Award winner. Her insight into sensitivity helps readers identify their gifts of intuition, empathy, vision, and expression to maximize their potential, while also learning how to learning how former trauma may have shaped them. Boy, where have we heard this bullshit before? Courtney's health and wellness coaching style focuses on holistic medicine and finding balance while living with sensitivity. Since sensitivity is closely interconnected within the nervous system and brain functioning, it is not something to, quote, get rid of. Her empathic style emphasis non-judgment and acceptance, learning how sensitivity's silence effects can impact mental, emotional, spiritual health and wellness. More about me. Let's see how much her holistic health coaching costs. And boy, I bet she got a fucking little bump of people to come sign up for this bullshit. Let's see here. Are any of these things clickable? Book a coaching consultation. Yeah, no, this is opening up my email. I don't want to do that. Let's see. Do you have, about offerings, coaching. Let's see. Come on. Give us some prices on your bullshit, please. Yeah, she probably doesn't put the prices here because they're probably fucking ridiculous. Let's see how much her books cost. I'm sure there's got to be prices here on this bullshit. All right, so purchase on Amazon, $17.60, normally $20. So $20 books. And yeah, she's got 4 fucking books. 1, 2, 3, 4 books. So she's selling 4 books. Okay, so I'm sure she's got a couple bump sales in her books, and she's the person who helped bring forward whistleblowers. What is do you have any facts? Let's see here. Frequently asked questions. Okay, will my insurance cover the cost and health? While many health coverages do not cover health coaching services, several large providers are starting to. However, it depends on your health care coverage and benefits. Health care insurances that do cover health coaching are Humana, Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, and Vera Whole Health Care. Yeah, I'm dying to know how much she charges for this shit. Healing offerings, mindful entrepreneur course. I mean, is there prices on any of this shit? I have a feeling these prices are gonna be just stupid, man. If I had to take a guess, man, the fact that she's not putting the prices on here is terrifying. Like, $300-$400 a session, $500 a session. Look at this shit. Unbelievable. She wants your name, email, how often you check your email, birthplace, date of birth, age, relationship status. Yeah, I feel like she's whatever. She's playing psychologist here. That's what it feels like. Again, I don't see anything like about her. There's no college degree. There's nothing, dude. There's nothing here. Gary Swanson. Oh my God. I've never met anyone like her. She's a real force of nature. I call Courtney Rolling Thunder because she comes up to the plate entirely every time with strength and generosity of spirit. Greg O'Brien, thank you for the $6.66 donation. If it wasn't for the USG, I would still believe in green men. Thanks, USG. Oh, man. Yeah. And that quote is from Gary Swanson, actor, teacher, and lifetime member of the Actors Studio. Wow. Wow. She's in Anchorage, Alaska. Holy fuck, man. This just screams scam. To me, it screams scam. Parapsychology bullshit. Like, just stupid. Anyway, if anybody has any clue or wants to find out how much she charges for the classes, that'd be great. But anyway, this is your thanks to her, we now have the worst whistleblower that we've ever seen. And we basically have a new Ashton Forbes 2.0. So thank you, Courtney Marchesani. We really appreciate the bullshit that you just, the fucking bullshit grenade that you just pulled the pin on in the UFO community. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, I think I'm done. Let me just check my bookmarks, but I'm pretty sure we're done for the day. Yep. I think we covered pretty much everything. Well, we'll talk about this one last thing. I mean, this is not crazy important, but okay. So this is the melon. I don't know why Jay Anderson like this particular part. The Mellon bloodline has been washed. So this is John Warner IV, historical researcher, author, son of Secretary, U.S. Navy John Warner III, who's a senator, and cousin to Christopher Mellon.
I have a friend, and she's hooked up with this Dragon Society of Scotland, and they have this funky website. It just looks silly, and she's like, "Don't let the website fool you. These are serious people." And they did my father's, so I know I'm related to James II and Robert the Bruce, the Stuart bloodline. But the Mellon bloodline, they said, it's been washed.
You can't find any information on it.
You can, but it's 23andMe shit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't get what you're saying. I don't understand what that means. But if I had to take a guess, it means that Christopher Mellon is not the rich guy that everybody thinks he is. So take that for however you want, but that's the way I take it. Anyway, you guys, that was the show. Thank you to my my mod, Art and Paranormal. Thank you guys so much for dealing with all of the drop streams that we had. I'll find out here soon exactly what caused that issue. We'll find out for sure, but yeah, I have a feeling I know what it was, and yeah, it's going to be a headache. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, it's just going to be a fucking headache. Anyway, guys, please don't forget. Actually, I shouldn't forget to start our music. That's what I shouldn't forget. You guys, thank you so damn much. Please don't forget to smack that like, share, subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you are notified anytime we go live multiple times, which happens, I guess, nowadays. I don't know. So ring the bell. That way you're notified. Check out our UCR Rewinds. Like I said, we released the Goof On episode this week. And yeah. Thank you all so much out there who were part of the show today and stayed patient and followed the streams when they crashed. To UFO Shane and to Skinny Bob and to 775 YBA, Mr. Eon, Sandy Cat, B. Baker, Archangel Reese, Jason Brown, Rotary Motion, everyone who was here. Wild Fools, I heard you were not being the best person in this chat, but thanks for being here. Thor Panku, Outer Space Dollface, Skinny Bob. Yeah, everyone here who hated me, that's fine. Greg O'Brien, thank you for the donation. Thank you for being here. Yeah, all right, guys. Thank you once again. Thank you, always. If you want to support the show with the almighty dollar, you can do that. We've got a Patreon link in the description below. Yeah. If you like shows like this, if you like information like this, that's the best way you can support. And if you can't do it that way, totally fine. There's no paywalls here. Like, share, subscribe. Those are really great ways to help the show as well. With all of that said, you guys, thank you again for embarking on this journey of discovery together. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you for subscribing to Lou Reviews. Until next time, you guys are raising the bar with every show that we do. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Wednesday for our space. Not sure exactly what we'll be covering, but I'm sure it'll be a mosh pit. Anyway, guys, have a great week. Love you all. Peace out.